how the top 1% use silence to manifest. So, nowadays, it's very popular for people to be on the grind, constantly moving, and not able to ever enter a state of silence. But the top 1% know that to actually get to where you want in life, to manifest your desires, you need to incorporate some level of silence. Now, to what degree is that silence needed? Well, we're going to find that out here. But this is exactly what silence does for you. And this is just one of the examples. We're going to go over a lot. But look at my amazing drawing. Look at him. He's covered and surrounded by silence. He's being protected from the outside noise, whether that be intrusive thoughts, whether it be the opinions of others, outside circumstances. Silence creates a barrier. But what is that barrier and how do you get it? We'll find out. Well, there's a lot. Really, there's a lot. I was very excited to make this video. Sadly, this is the second time I'm making it. Because earlier, my handy dandy mic right here was not plugged into the correct spot and I had no audio. Nonetheless, you will know how the top 1% uses silence to manifest their desired reality. Now, one thing that's very, very important for you to know is how brainwaves actually influence our ability to manifest and why they're very important. So you have brainwaves. Could you, off the top of your head, name all the brainwaves? If so, comment down below and let me know. But we're going to go from highest to lowest brainwaves. So it'd go beta, alpha, theta, and delta. Now, it's very, very important to understand what part this plays in manifestation, how silence actually ties in to all of this. Now, when you look at these brainwaves, we're going to go, again, beta is the fastest. It goes very fast. Alpha is a little faster. Theta is a lot slower. And then delta is like, boom. Now, what do they all mean? Chances are you probably don't know. But beta, highly alert. But what is it that beta doesn't allow us to do? And this ties into what I said in the intro. Everybody is always moving. They don't allow their brain a chance or their conscious mind a chance to shut down. And what does that mean? It means when you're in beta and you're highly alert, there's a wall to your subconscious. And when you have this wall, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, it's only going, it's like trying to run through a brick wall. It's not going to work. This is how it's going to look, right? So you come here, maybe a little dot here and there. It's like running into a brick wall when you could just open the door. Hi, nice to meet you. You know what I mean? That is exactly what it is. Now, then you get down to alpha. It's, you're alert. You're not highly alert, but you're alert. And it's sort of the same thing, right? Subconscious, it's a lot better than beta, but maybe you come here, you say your affirmations, a little bit more comes through. And obviously, those are the brainwaves we spend the most time in. And that's the complete opposite of what silence brings us. And again, we're going to get to it. Clean up your mouth a little bit. Slow down. Then we have theta and delta, which guess what? This is where imagination thrives. No wall, subconscious. And then delta is sleep. So when you think of theta, this is the dream that we want to get to when it comes to manifesting our desired reality, because our body is asleep, the conscious mind sleeps, but guess what? The subconscious mind doesn't sleep. It's awake 24/7. Now, when it comes to being silent, it's very, very important to know that silence and through meditation will lead you to theta. It's the whole point of it. It will lead you to theta. But a lot of you guys only operate in beta and alpha. And when you're in those brain waves, guess what? All of the work you're doing to manifest your desired reality is like that. It's not doing much. You're going to have to do 100 times more things to get to the same place, which again is why silence is so important. So let me walk you through, exactly what it means to get here. So, question for you guys. What are y'all's favorite animes? Now, if you guys are some of the people who think anime is weird and it's, for children, like I used to, I suggest you get into it. There's a lot of really good ones. For example, I think a lot of you guys who don't like the kiddie stuff when it comes to animes, I think you guys would like Death Note or Attack on Titan, one of the two. But I used to hate anime. This is completely off topic, but I used to hate anime. I was like, bro, it's for kids. It's so childish. And then one day I had like the worst stomach flu of all time. And I'm laying on the couch. My girl's like, hey, you got to watch this. I was like, nah, it's for kids. She's like, come on, just watch one episode. So I'm like, whatever. I'll appease to my woman. And she put on Jujutsu Kaisen. I'm like, why is this low-key kind of cool? And from there, I've discovered quite a few animes. I'm currently watching Full Metal Alchemist, but I'm almost done with it. So if y'all got any animes that I should watch, leave it down below. But when it comes to meditation, right, we talked about this wall. In meditation, when you're sitting in silence and observing yourself, you're going to naturally get led down to theta. This is when your body will be calm, thoughts stop, you feel heavy, and as you get to this silence, this internal silence, this wall will do what? All of your affirmations, your visualizations, all your techniques that you're doing, instead of hitting this wall and bouncing back, you're going to crumble the wall down and get to the subconscious mind. And when you get to the subconscious, that is part one. You get your stuff to the subconscious with no barrier. You continue to do that, and guess what? Your subconscious is taking it in like this. And that's part one. A lot of you guys have known this to a degree, but you don't really understand the full importance. And, I'm guilty of this too, where I'll go along and it's like, oh, all I need to do is think in my favor. All I need to do is this technique. And you put so much power, so much thing into the technique when all it is just thinking at the end of the day. All techniques are tools to train our awareness. But it's important, but it's not as important as the mechanism to get the message there, because no matter if you use the right mail system, it doesn't matter, because guess what? If you enter the wrong address, you're not going to get it to the right sender. So it's very important that you always are in theta. Do you guys hear my cat? He's acting like he's hungry, even though he just ate an hour ago. Milo, you shut up. But hey, you go to theta, right? It's very important that you always get to theta, right? And that's the delivery that delivers your message to the right place, which is the subconscious. We want to avoid the conscious, which is, again, that wall that we break down through silence. But that's just a small part of why silence is very important. As you'll see here, this second part is a lot more important, and it's something that I honestly quite recently fully internalized. So you guys are basically coming on this journey with me. Oh man. And like I said, make sure to drop your animes. I want to I definitely want to hear some new animes. Like I said, I've got about 15 episodes left, and me in my free time, before I go to bed, I'll probably watch like 5 episodes. So I don't really got that many left. It's probably gonna be done before the end of the week. And like I said, always open to new suggestions. I'm gently dipping my toe into it. I have seen some weird shit. Like, I don't know what's with the anime community and everybody being naked, like in some animes. Don't send me no weird shit, but I like the serious animes, like the Jujutsu Kaisens, like Full Metal Alchemist, Attack on Titan, shit like that. Send it in. But now, something you guys don't know is that in reality, there's 3 planes of existence. I don't even know if I spelled that right. It doesn't matter. Now, we level them from, importance, right? 1 and 2 are interconnected, and then 3 is physical reality. Now, if you were to sit here and think, what is 1 and 2? A lot of you guys will say the mental plane, right? And again, there's nothing better, they're the same. So boom, mental plane. But what is the last plane of existence? Think about it. And I genuinely want you to take a second here and think about it. Because if you can start to connect the dots on your own, when I start to break it down more, it'll actually be easier to learn. So just think about it for a second. Add in some music like da 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 da. Anyway, hopefully you have an answer. If you did, leave it down in the comments. This would be the spiritual plane. Now, the reason why silence is so important when it comes to manifestation is we all know if you don't, now you know there's 3 planes of reality. And when it comes to reality creation, we tend to only use these 2. The mental plane, which is where we do our techniques, thinking, yada, 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 you know the drill. And then physical reality is, our reality that we're in, our action. It's an illusion, if you guys did not know, because it is not as what it seems, which is why it's at the bottom. It's the least important. It's not unimportant, but it's the least important, because no matter what you do here, this is always predating it. Now, what is the spiritual plane? It is your connection to God, your higher self. It's all interchangeable. And if you really think about this, and I did get this term from Neuroknowledge, I believe, if you were to take a droplet out of the ocean, it still has all the properties of the ocean, right? And that's how we are with God, or the highest level of consciousness, whatever you want to say, that they're all interchangeable terms, but the highest level of us. And the only way to connect to that realm is to do what? To be silent. To be silent. And you sit there and do nothing. And nothingness it has a lot of benefits, but the most important one is it speeds up your manifestations. And you'll sit there and you'll think, how does it do that? But if you think about being silent, right, it has multiple benefits. So 1, you get to the spiritual realm, which again, very important. It speeds up your manifestation. But how does it actually do that? So when you are going about your day, right, and you hear all of these things that are going on, right? You're in beta, you're going very fast. You can't really pick apart your thoughts. And it comes down to you thinking every thought is one of your own. And a big thing in the manifestation community is flipping your thoughts. Oh, you need to flip your thoughts. Oh, you need to flip your thoughts. Not all thoughts are the same. And this is something that's a very unpopular opinion. So buckle up and get ready for me to attack your beliefs. Not every thought is the same, and not every thought is of the same multiplier, right? Not every thought counts the same when it comes to the giant counter, which is your subconscious mind. So it's very important to understand what thoughts are yours and what thoughts aren't yours. And without silence, it's impossible to do that. And if you can do it, oh, it makes manifestation so much easier, and it actually makes it faster. And I'm going to tell you why. So silence, you being silent, it goes to the spiritual plane, but what does it also do? When you're in meditation, you are watching your thoughts. And when you're watching your thoughts, what is that allowing you to do? It allows you to be aware of what is going on underneath, because your thoughts will continue to run on autopilot. Obviously until you enter a state of theta. But what does that allow you to do? Think about that for a second. You're watching all your thoughts go, and you realize you are not the thinker. You are aware of the thoughts. And eventually, you start to understand that when these things are coming up into your mind, it's not even you. 99% of the time. We have around, I think, 60,000 thoughts a day. 60 to 70,000 thoughts a day, if I'm not mistaken. It could be more, could be less. Don't quote me. But I think that's about how many thoughts we have in a day. How many of those thoughts are yours? Like actually yours. Like you're consciously thinking this. Not a lot. Okay. And as I have gone deeper into meditation and visiting the spiritual plane and just watching my thoughts go, I realize that almost none of them are original thoughts, unless you're consciously being like, I am this thing. Because a lot of the times they're just intrusive that you're agreeing with as your own. Now, the benefit of seeing this as your own is it allows you to pick out which thoughts are from your old self, which thoughts are from you, which thoughts are from your intuition, and that is very important. And that is what actually speeds up your manifestations. Now, what does intuition mean? Right, so we go over here and we have intuition. Could you explain to me what intuition means? Genuinely, do you even know? And again, I want you to think for yourself here for a second. What is intuition? Now, it can be very easily broken up into two spots. You cut it down the middle. The inner teaching. Now, what is it the inner teaching of? Right? The version, I'm running out of board. The version of you who is in X reality. Now, whatever it is that we're impressing into our subconscious mind, which again, we need to be in theta. Silence predates the opening of the subconscious mind. If you have access to the subconscious mind, you always have the ability to change your reality, but we know this. Now, once we go in to change our reality, well, guess what? We get led to intuition. Intuition, right? And the intuition is the inner teaching from the version of us who has that thing and is teaching us the most effective, quickest way to get there. Now, why is that possible? And on another note, how do we know what the intuition is and how does it come about? Now, it's very important to understand that this is genuinely why we can manifest, and we actually get taught from other versions of ourselves. Because in the fourth dimension, which we access through the subconscious mind, everything is done. And I can explain the fourth dimension as this dot. Everything is happening there. We live on a linear timetable, which is boom, 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 present, past, future. This is the fourth dimension. Everything's happening now. And in the fourth dimension, which is accessed through the subconscious mind, whatever it believes to be true is true in your reality. But whatever it believes to be true, you're getting the intuition of it to midwife you into that reality, okay? It's the factor that leads you to the action of getting there. Now, I have videos on the delivery system of the universe on my YouTube channel. This is not what this is going to be about, but I suggest you go and watching that and figuring that out after this. But we get to intuition, which is right before action, right? And intuition, again, is the inner teaching from the version of you who is in X reality, which X is just the belief. It's just the belief that you're impressing into the subconscious mind. So for example, if you're manifesting making 10K a month in your business? Well, you would get the intuition from the version of you who is making 10K a month to lead you to getting to that reality, the unfolding of it. Now, again, how does intuition come about? It tells you, but what does it do? It's not obviously like, hey, Aiden, you're going to wake up today and do X, Y, and Z. No, it's not going to do that shit. But what it does do is it gives you mental nudges. It gives you mental nudges. Like, oh, maybe instead of driving to work this way, go this way. And again, it's in the spiritual plane. It's in the causal realm in the fourth dimension. So it can actually change circumstances, events, situations, people to bring you your desired reality. But a lot of the times, it's going to start mental nudging you to maybe talk to this person. Maybe go and meet this person. Maybe go talk to that stranger. Maybe answer that email. Maybe go and call this person. And I'll give you an example, okay? I was meditating for an investor probably 2 years ago for a gambling thing that I was doing. And I'm sitting in the closet, I went and meditated and then did my thing. And in the middle of me doing my techniques, I got a little nudge. And it was very clear because, again, I was in the spiritual realm. I knew what thoughts were my own and which weren't. And intuition, when you're very aware, it sounds like a foghorn. It's very loud. And the more you depth and the more you're aware with what's going on in your reality, the louder and more clear your intuition will be. And it said, forgot his name now, but call blank. I forgot his name. Let's call him Paul, right? So call Paul. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean call Paul? Call Paul. Like, okay, cool. Go to my contacts. One was some guy that I wasn't calling him. Another guy wasn't going to call him. Then the last guy in my contacts list, I click on him. He used to be a smoothie. Like, he used to own this very, very small, one employee himself. Like, he'd sell smoothies in this, GNC. And I'm like, why the fuck would I call this guy? What is he going to have? I said, call him. I said, you know what? Who am I to judge? I don't know how this is going to unfold. So I call him. And we're talking it up. He's excited to hear from me. And then he's like, yeah, I invest in companies now. I'm with an investment firm and we invest in smaller companies. And it just blew my mind. And that's kind of how intuition works. But the thing with intuition is that you can miss the nudge and not follow it. And then you gotta, wait for another intuition, another mental nudge, another way of getting to your desired reality. How is it that you're able to pick apart those mental nudges and know, which way to go? And again, people will say this is a limiting belief, but this is genuinely how the universe works and how it delivers you your manifestations. Now, sometimes it's very simple. You don't got to do a lot, but other times you might have to do something, right? It might be simple, like opening an email, or it might be complex. You don't really know. And it's not really your job to find out, but your job is to be aware enough to pick it out and actually go through with what you're being led to go do. And the only way to know this is to be silent through meditation. And the more you meditate and the more you enter the spiritual realm, and then you do your mental realm, which is where you're going and doing your techniques, you're more connected to source, which is where the intuition is coming from, which means it'll be louder. And if you can always hear your intuition, well, you're going to get your manifestations in the quickest way possible, right? Now, knowing that, knowing how to get to intuition, what it is, where it comes from, how to increase your ability to hear your intuition, what do I suggest you do on a day-to-day basis? Well, we'll get to that. In the meantime, why I erased this pretty whiteboard. How was your guys' Easter? If you guys celebrated. If not, how was your weekend? I know a good buddy of mine, his kid ended up hitting him in the head. And it hit his vagus nerve and he had to go to the hospital. Very interesting shit. Hopefully you guys had a better weekend than that. Me personally, I stuffed my face with a bunch of food, felt like shit. And now I'm here. hopefully you guys had an amazing Easter weekend. And if you don't celebrate, just an amazing weekend in general. But now, what is the daily routine I use to make sure I'm connecting with both realms, to make sure I'm actually using the silence that the top 1% use to manifest their desired reality? What is it that I do on a day-to-day basis, and what do I recommend you guys do? Now, it's very simple, all right? Step 1, meditate. What is meditation? For a lot of you guys that really want to know what it is, it's not listening to guided meditations. What I mean is raw dogging meditation, no audio. You sit there. I wear like noise canceling headphones because I live with, as you guys heard earlier, my cat. Technically, I have 2 pussies, and then my girlfriend, right? And sometimes they can be loud, and I'm not trying to hear all that. So I put my noise canceling headphones on, and I will sit there, and your only job is to observe your thoughts. It's your only job when it comes to this, is observing your thoughts. You sit there, observe your thoughts until, guess what? It leads you to nothing, until there's nothing left. Until you get to what brainwave? Say it. Theta. Until you get to theta. And then, that is the whole point, is to observing your thoughts, watch what thoughts are coming up. That way you know what is automatically going on behind the scenes, and you can take yourself away from your thoughts. And then you do it until the thoughts go away, until you get to theta. Then what do you do? What do you do once you get to theta? Well, that's when you do your techniques. Whether that be affirming, visualizing, scripting. It doesn't matter which one of these you use. And this is, you'll hit both the spiritual and the mental here. And then at that point, it doesn't matter what you do in the physical. You could be doing the wrong shit and it will lead you to the right place. Because nothing is more important than your frequency, than what's impressed in the subconscious mind, your identity. Multiple different ways to say the same thing. Okay? Now, a lot of you guys might still be having issues, even though you're doing this to a T. You might meditate until you hit theta, which is, again, when your body is fully calm. Thoughts slow down, body feels heavy, but you can still use your imagination, which is your mind. And then you get to your techniques, and you're doing your techniques, and you're like, you know, I don't think I'm doing these techniques right. I don't know what I'm doing, Hayden. Maybe the technique isn't working for me. I'm going to shut that down right now, so you need to shut the fuck up. But seriously, when you get to techniques, what are techniques really? They're just thinking. Again, affirming is thinking, visualizing, thinking in pictures, scripting is writing your thoughts down. Is there a right or wrong way to think? No. The only wrong way to think is if you think that you don't have your manifestation. And it is that simple, and that should wrap it up. You know what I mean? That should give you your light bulb moment to where it's like, oh my God, you're right. There is no wrong way of doing a technique, because technique is just thinking. And well, you can't think wrong unless you think that I don't have it. So, look, if you want to hit both planes of the mental and physical realms, or the mental and spiritual realms, boom. Your daily routine when it comes to manifestation is to meditate, reach God, reach that state, go connect to the realm where intuition flourishes, and then guess what? Maintain that level of awareness throughout the day. You'll disconnect yourself from your thoughts, and in the silence of disconnecting yourself from your thoughts, guess what you can do? You can think in your favor, because no matter what opposite is coming up, you're like, that's not even me. Those aren't my thoughts, because I heard them when I wasn't thinking. And the more you do that, the better you'll be at actually picking apart those thoughts. Like, oh, that's the old version of me. That's the version of me who wants me to stay at this. Because at the end of the day, the version of you who is alive now that you're leaving with awareness, because awareness is like oxygen to spiritual entities, guess what? The version of you who you're leaving is dying. So it will try to give you thoughts that try to pull you back in with your awareness. But when you're in the spiritual realm and you're connecting to that God energy, your higher self, and you're aware that you're actually not the one thinking those thoughts, it's very easy to hear them but not react to them, because reacting will lead you to do a U-turn right to your undesired reality, the reality you are trying to leave. So now that you know exactly what to do, your routine, meditate, and then do your techniques, repeat, and you know why it's so important to be silent and what the top 1% does to manifest their desired realities, well, you know exactly what to do now. Silence predates manifestation. You need to be silent to be in the top 1% of manifestors. I'm out.